Thanks for joining Let It Fly Disc Golf, and in this video I'm going to share 9 different things that I struggled with and how I overcame them, and hopefully they help you. Stay tuned.
Let it fly into the sky, let it glow into the night, let it take flight, just slip away, it'll let you find your way.
Before we get started, I do want to say make sure you hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. We have something really exciting, I'm talking about super exciting, coming to this channel, and if you aren't subscribed, you might miss it. You might be hearing things on the course and you're going to be like, I don't know what he's talking about. So make sure you subscribe, keep coming back for more, and you'll get that announcement pretty soon. So we are here at Cobb in Abilene. Some of you have probably seen me play this course a couple times on the channel, but it's really close to the house and it really helps out a lot. Just FYI, I do got the new Climo set up. So, man, nice feeling discs. I haven't thrown them, but I'm gonna save that for another video. So let me know if you want to see a Climo review, or in this case, I have an idea for this along with my brother Sal, and I think it would be pretty fun and pretty helpful for a lot of y'all. Don't also forget that at 2,000 subscribers, we will be doing a giveaway, so make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you check out my Instagram page because that's how I will be communicating with you. The information will be in the description below. Also, let me know if you like seeing this type of content where I play a course round and just talk about certain things. I like to play, and for most of the time whenever I'm watching YouTube content, I like to see other people play. So let me know if that's something that you like, and I'll just continue doing it. Okay, so these are the 9 areas. I'm gonna share one issue that I struggle with on one hole. I might not show all the shots, who knows, I might put them all in. But we'll definitely talk about specific things that I struggle with, and if you struggle with them too, how I've either overcame them or gotten better as far as not incorporating those into my form. So the first thing is, and I think it affects a lot of people, is just elbow drop. And there's a lot of people that talk about like where you feel strong and that kind of stuff. We just don't want our elbow to be too far down because we don't want to be throwing like this. We want to throw efficient, and we want to throw like this. Now, even though that I practice this and do some shadow swings with this kind of throw, I still tend to pull from here because I just feel more comfortable with that, and that's where I've lived for several years. So how do you overcome this? Well, one, shadow swings and moving very slow, feeling the difference of where my elbow is versus where it's not, okay? The other thing is, when you're pulling the disc into the power pocket, if you see the disc with your eyes, then that's a good location. But if your elbow's really far down, I have to look down like this to see my disc. So sometimes I have to slow down and go, okay, can I see my disc? If I do see the top of the flight plate really close to my chest or in a good area, then I know without looking down but looking out this way, but I can still see it in my view, that is going to help. Take video of yourself. Let's get a couple throws, see how that looks. First throw of the day, beyond the big tree, little hyzer. Maybe went down the hill. Let's get a second one. This is my getaway Dymax, so it's pretty stable. I'm gonna line myself up a little bit this way, and then I'll get out of the way of the shot. Not bad. Let's see what we're working with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, give or take about 25 feet. So I was talking about the elbow. Sometimes this feels natural, and when you're pulling up here, it might feel like you're pulling up here. That's okay. That's the reason why I said you want to film yourself, because when you go back to look at the video and you realize, oh, I'm right in a good spot, but it felt like I threw from up here. Sometimes it's going to feel like that for a little while. There we go. Let's go to hole 2. Hole 2, other issues that I ran into were my footwork, my accepts. I used to have a really bad tendency to get this foot turned back before I went to go stride. If you're turning your foot back, you're gonna have a really, really hard time to engage your hips. Doesn't mean everybody, but for the most part, we wanna try to keep our feet parallel with each other as much as possible so that this way when we get into our stance, it's a lot easier to move your hips. If you're horse stance, super hard to get your hips involved. Okay, let's see if we can get it there. Oh, that's a good kick. It's a great kick. All right, let's move on. So we're probably about 40 feet out, maybe a little bit further. We got a tailwind putt. You can't see it, but the street is probably like 10 feet past the basket. So I'm not really gonna try to get it there, but land close enough. If we get in, then great. Yeah. All right, let's set it up. All right, let's move on to hole 3. Okay, so we're at hole 3, low gap, or you can go over the top. So number 3, disc management. Make sure you are practicing with your discs and a headwind, tailwind, crosswind. Know what your discs do. Now, there are some issues that can arise. As you start to perfect your form and you start getting a faster throwing arm or you're engaging your hips more, sometimes this will put a move on the disc and the disc is gonna react a different way, okay? So if I throw this disc 45 miles an hour, but I give it to somebody else and they throw it 60 miles an hour, it's gonna react different for them than it will for me. The other thing too is if we're both getting to the hit at the same time, if we're both turning our wrist, there's a whole bunch of different variables that can cause a disc to fly a specific way. So when it comes to flight numbers, I really don't look at it. What I look at is the feel, how it flies for me at the time. I have a stack of discs at the house that are just stored in a bin because they're too flippy for me. And same thing for my brother. He's giving me a lot of stuff that's flipped for him, but it works for my game. And so if you have some flippy stuff that you don't throw, think about giving it to a newbie or somebody, and that will help out. All right, let's see if we can get down to there. This is a hex. It's a glow hex, and so it's more stable than some people's hexes. Some of them, they're like kind of flippy, but for mine, this is pretty stable. Taking the local route. We're gonna have like another 40-foot putt, but we are still on hole 3. This is not hole 14. But when it comes to disc management, knowing what your discs do in specific situations and different temperatures is really going to help you build that confidence as far as I know what this disc does. Bang! So I know that this is kind of controversial, but when pros put out disc and you go pick them up right away, for me, when I first started, I did the same thing. Every disc that I grabbed and picked up, put in my bag, was super overstable for me at the time. So it wasn't until I started switching to like, I probably had a diamond in my bag. I still have a couple Destinies in my bag, Havocs, bolts. I definitely wouldn't throw a bolt in a headwind depending on the stability or, in this case, the weight of the disc or the type of plastic. And so, but I have given these lightweight bolts to other players that I know that have a slower arm, and for the most part, some of those discs go further for them than any other disc. They are a little touchy, but when you're able to control that, you're able to cut some strokes off your game. We are on hole 4, right down there. This is a good time to have like a forehand, but I don't have a forehand right now off the tee. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But the next thing that I struggled with was not playing enough. This is like, you probably see it all over YouTube, like how to get better faster or whatever. If you're playing enough, you're gonna have a ton of approaches, okay? And so the more you play, the better you will get. And if you are working on something make sure you are thinking about what you're doing very methodical and making sure that that it is being very effective. So for me, I've been really paying attention to this elbow because I wanna develop it to the point where I don't have to think about it, but two, how does it actually really react? And I think it does help a lot. If you're unable to play, I play like try to play it 5 times out of 7. Sometimes I'm only able to play 9 holes, and that's okay as well. But let's say that you're only able to play like once out of the week, it's on a Saturday. Get yourself a net, stick it up in the backyard, make sure you have a basket, putt every day in your backyard, and throw into a net every day in the backyard. So that this way, when you do come out and play on Saturday, it's not like you're trying to figure out stuff. You're just seeing how that muscle memory is actually reacting on the course. Now, I don't mind throwing into the net. I will tell you that I used to throw into the net 90% of the week, but now I don't do it as much. The reason for it is because I want to see how the disc flies and how it reacts on certain situations. So let's see if we can get this. I'm gonna do a little like Anheuser and see if we can get it there. Volley into the tree. Nope. That's fine. So play more. Find some friends that you like to play with and learn from them. That is knowing your disc. Throwing with wizards, it's gonna push forward and then finish to the left. Hole 5, right there. This one, this tip is learn a new skill. So for probably 3 years, I've only thrown backhand. I've tried throwing forehands here and there, but I never get a good result. And I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I just could never get a disc to go the way I needed to with the forehand. I've tried different grips. I've tried all different kind of stuff, but I've never been able to get a clean release. I am planning on doing a forehand video because I have been developing it for specific things, and I think it's going to be very, very useful to the point where you start at a specific location of your game and then you slowly work your way up to the tee, and we'll create a video on that. So learn a new skill. If you know how to backhand and forehand, learn how to tomahawk, learn how to throw a thumber, learn how to do something, learn how to putt from the knee, right? All these different skills are definitely going to help, and I've seen it work in my game to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I should throw this, but the more you do it, the higher the percentage will go as you develop that skill. All right, nice and easy. That wasn't easy. It's just right there. All right, let me give you a bonus shot. We'll go with the method. That was too much of a disc. It must be the heat. Throw something more overstable, I don't know. This is a sketchy shot. Downhill, headwind. I don't know if so there is one that was no way to take par. And this would probably be the time to just lay up. But let's give it a softy bid, see the reaction, and you'll see what I mean. See that? Versus laying up. It's just a bonus. All right, so we're not gonna take the close one, the layup. We'll take the actual putt. Give it some. There we go. layup would have been a lot easier putt than a scary one. So I'll let some guys play through. But on the last hole, I talked about laying up for par. So when I first started, I was really bad at putting, and I would run everything. But I didn't know that, like, if you put it in a headwind, you want to keep it low. Where I was putting really high, the disc would lift, and then it would just pull straight to the left like another 30 feet. So then I played around where if I wasn't in the circle putting, then I was laying up. Even if I was like 40 feet, I was thinking about where do I want my disc to land to make sure that I have a easy putt. Until you can develop where you can putt from 40 feet comfortably. But try it. Go out to a field, play. If you're not in circle's edge, then approach. And then even if it's for bogey, still do the same thing, because you never know, you might save a bogey instead of taking a double bogey. So really important to try that, see how that works out for you. Now, once you start getting the distance to the point where you're like, okay, well, I can get in circle's edge from the tee, so then I can putt. If I miss, then I take a par, right? Make the other putt. Or you can still keep doing the same thing until you develop the arm speed that you need. But the other important factor of that is putting. If you get comfortable putting from 50 feet, which I know a lot of guys are here in Abilene, at that point you can run it. I don't mind running putts because I give that dad putt, right, where it's only going to go so high. It might be chain height, but it's only going to land like 10 feet past the basket. Even 15, 20 feet, no big deal. I'm still pretty comfortable with that kind of throw. Okay, so let's see if we can keep it close. Doesn't need to be crazy rip. We should be looking at a birdie, hopefully. Counter steps off from the putt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Give or take about 8 feet, but as you can see, it's a headwind. So because of the fact that I'm in the circle, then I can go ahead and putt. But if I was outside the circle, I would pitch up. It's headwind, so I want to just make sure I'm aiming like towards the basket or the cage and just let it fall there. All right? Or go a little bit past the basket. This isn't that far, so I could just throw that like that and still land there. So no big deal. Was for birdie, but as you can see, easy par. Whereas if I would have soared that because I'm a bad putter, it probably still wouldn't go that far because I'm putting in a headwind. If it would have rose, it could have pulled 30 feet to the left. So know how it reacts in the wind. All right, so my number one, I believe we're on hole 7, but my number one would probably be your mental game. Work on your mental game. So I'm a programmer, and I've learned a long time ago, when you get angry, you're not able to think straight. So there's no point of having anger at yourself because you're not really playing against other people. You should be playing against yourself. Okay, so when you have like, I'm missing putts all day long. Okay, well, think about what you're doing. Why are you missing? What's going on? Maybe I'm not putting too well today, so I need to get closer to the basket, right? But the other thing is one, it's just a game, right? Now, if we were playing for like $3,000 on the line, 5,000, 10, 40,000, that's understandable. But you still need to put yourself into certain situations so that this way, when it comes time to execute, you can. So working on your mental game, super important. I still see it as a game, even when I am playing for money. And I learned a long time ago that, like, just play the hole. Don't play your opponents, don't play the course, play the hole as it's intended to play. This one's pretty tough. Mando, tree, basket's way over there on the stump, and we have a headwind. So I'm hoping that even if I do get this turned over, it stays in bounds. Get through the gap, that'll work. That will work. But it's just a game. Think about what you fell in love with, and that will definitely help. All right, touchy shots. Island's right there on the hill, and it's like 4 feet past the basket is OB. So see if we can just kind of soft it out there. Little nose up, land next to it. And that's how you execute for par. All right, take 14. I'm joking. So when it comes to your mental game, give yourself positive feedback to yourself. If you miss this putt, don't be like, oh, you're dumb, you're stupid, right? Give yourself some positive feedback. Why you're good, how you know how to play, right? And that will feed into your ego. And you'll enjoy the game a lot more. Okay, so number 8, maybe it's 7. No, we'll say 8. Number 8, don't give up. You don't know how many times that I used to grab all my discs and was just like, you know what? First person I see gets all my discs, $5. Zuka cart, bags, everything. And it wasn't until I started thinking or started seeing progress. And I think that's what really like kept me going. Playing with other friends and that kind of stuff has helped me not give up on the sport. When you start seeing progress, even in the small things, when you start seeing progress in the small things, that's when you start to think, okay, trust the process, trust the journey, right? Trying to give out positive vibes here. So if you've been playing for 3 years and you still can't throw past 300 feet, look for a disc golf coach. I'm not a coach, but I like to give positive feedback to people. I like to, give out information that helps me so that this way you love the game as much as I do. All right, let's see if we can get it there. I haven't been throwing too well today, but that's not gonna stop us. Maybe that tree will. Maybe it won't. Okay. So many emotions, but don't give up. Let me know in the comments how close you've been of like throwing your bag into a lake or something like that because you're just ready to give up. Don't give up. Find something you love. Maybe it's time to get rid of your old bag and get all new discs. You got people like Big Germ. You have people like Simon Lazat, Eagle McMahon, who came from throwing with Discmania, throwing with Innova, now switching over to MVP. And Big Germ talked about this where he figured out that learning new discs is what drives him to be like a little kid again. So maybe it's time for that. Maybe it's time to get rid of your favorite disc and get some new discs and learn what those new discs do. For me, I think for anybody, I just love the flight of the disc, especially when I'm not throwing good and I see that a stable to overstable got a little bit of turn. That tells me that I put enough oomph behind the disc to get it to do that. Or when I throw a hyzer flip and it flips up and just rides perfectly. Or when I throw a really amazing shot and Sal's on my card because I know what he's thinking. It's too understable. And then it's like I prove him wrong. All right. Ah! That would have been a great birdie. Sometimes I'm throwing really far, other times I'm not. And that's the other thing that is just gonna be like that. Sometimes your putting is amazing that day. Sometimes your approaches are amazing. You can practice all you can, but how consistent can you be if you're not playing every single day, like 2 or 3 times? If you've ever seen anybody on the course that play 2 or 3 times a day, you'll see how fast their game gets better because they don't got no kids. No, but they love the game that much that they're playing it so much that they're seeing results, and they've learned not to give up. So let's move on to the last hole. All right, last hole, hole 9. If you haven't seen, I try to ace this one. This would be amazing if I ace it now. But last one is make yourself a list of things that you're working on. When I go out to play, even a practice round, I might just be like, you know what? I'm working on this. That's all I'm working on. I don't care how the disc is reacting, as far as like I'm shooting 7 over right now or something like that. What I want to see is, how does that react? I get 18 full throws with that kind of, wrist turn, or maybe the elbow up, or trying to engage the hips. That's all I'm trying to do this round. Record yourself, go back, analyze it, and see if it's working. I've been able to change my footwork, which was really, really bad. If you go back and look at some of my earlier videos, I put some film in there where probably 4 years ago, really bad. It took me a long time to develop it. It was so ingrained in me that even though I would, throw, and I would look at my brother and be like, did I do it? And he'd be like, nope, you didn't do it. You were like this. And it's just like, it takes so much time. So don't give up on the process. Make sure you're working on something, and make sure you subscribe. All right. That's in the basket. Get in the basket. Well, it's parked. All right, let's get that birdie. Elevator baskets. Let me know in the comments. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Right now, I hate them. All right, that's a birdie. I don't know what I shot. Fun round. Let me know in the comments what I shot if you were keeping track. But other than that, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you subscribe. Like I said, there's some really, really interesting content coming up. Really super excited for it. I want you to be a part of it, so make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. I've had friends say that they are subscribed, but they're not seeing my content come up, and it's probably because of your algorithm. If you turn on that notification bell, it will put that up on your homepage anytime that I put out a video. I do work full-time, and I do this for fun, so definitely support the channel by at least subscribing, liking, and leaving comments. We do have merch, hats, shirts. We're coming out with some new stuff, so make sure you stay tuned for that as well. Once again, once we get 2,000 subscribers, we'll do another giveaway. If you haven't seen my giveaways, go back and check the other ones. This one will be exciting. Other than that, keep it the good work, get out in the field, let it fly. Peace.